Hey guys, so I've noticed that my old video of how to get sponsored has gotten some attention lately. It's honestly not the best video. I am really cringy in it. I actually hate watching it. It makes me really uncomfortable, so I'm gonna recreate it, hoping that you'll watch this one instead of the last one. I'm not only recreating it, I'm adding to it, so if you've already seen the last video, you might want to stick around just for some extra tips, maybe? I'm not only recreating it, I'm also adding to it, so if you want, you can stick around even if you've already seen the last video. This is not just about Instagram, although I'm going to be using Instagram as the primary example for this. However, it can be applied for other medias, not just Instagram. Brands are looking for people on social media to give them advertising. And a lot of people want this because there's also benefits of having a brand want you to be their advertiser. In return of advertising for the company in whatever way that they want you to, they will often give you a reward. This payment can be free products, this payment could be actual cash. Although what I'm talking about today is how to even get that company to notice you in the first place. First thing you need to do is make sure your image is professional, at least semi-professional. You have to make sure you're a person that a company wants to be associated with. I talked about this a bit in one of my previous videos, how to get more followers on Instagram. A lot of the stuff is kind of similar, so I might be referring back to that video. Huge part of your image is what people first see when they look at your profile. This is one of the things I talked about in the other video. A company can decide just in a few seconds if they want to sponsor you or if they're interested in you at all. What they first see is kind of just like the big first impression. So you gotta make sure your page kind of fits that first impression. Now what you do after you clean up your image is you try to find brands. Not every brand is gonna come to you. You wanna find brands that are actually really good. Make sure they're legit businesses, not some sketchy Instagram page selling grips, you know? People with a smaller following unfortunately will have a harder time finding a brand. Big businesses don't wanna sponsor smaller accounts because that smaller account doesn't do a lot for them. The trick is to find smaller brands too. So businesses that are just getting started, if you were like a fashion blogger, you can get a small boutique to sponsor you or something like that. I don't know equivalent for every category that someone might be in, but that's just an example. And of course, like I kind of said in the beginning, you want to make sure that this brand you found is professional and legit. You want to make sure that the person behind the screen of this brand isn't talking crap to their customers, that they're actually treating their customers well. This is true, especially with bigger brands, is that you want to buy their products and post about them. This is just a way for bigger businesses to notice you. If you are posting a picture in their shirt or something like that, tagging them, using their hashtag, contacting the brands can be difficult. Try to find their email. Don't comment on their posts saying sponsor me, and only DM at last resort if you really just can't find their email anywhere. This is really helpful with business profiles on Instagram. A lot of times they have an email option, but maybe that email isn't for marketing and it's only for customer support. If they have a website, make sure to search their website before you DM them or anything like that. And if you want, you could set up a business profile on Instagram yourself. When you email a company, you really need to be careful with what you say. Don't be like, hey, what's up? Or informal. I would be very formal and showing that you are professional and looking for business. For sure, state who you are, state how many followers you have, state what you do and why working with this company would be beneficial for this company and yourself. And of course, if you've ever done any work for another company, you should link that as an example of what you could do for this company as well. I have a few extra tips and tricks for you guys. First one is make sure you're posting decent quality pictures. The new generation of phones can take amazing pictures. You don't necessarily have to have an expensive ass camera like I do. However, make sure you're not over editing them and make sure that you're not posting like iPhone 3 quality pictures. They want to have their product represented well, not in an over edited or really bad quality way that makes people think of it as kind of trashy. Of course, you have to have some kind of following. The bigger a following you have, the larger the brand that could potentially sponsor you will be. Did that make sense? I don't even know. Basically, if you have a larger following, of course, you're gonna have a higher chance that someone's gonna wanna sponsor you, and also you could get more from it. I know that kind of sucks for some of you watching because most likely a lot of you don't have a large following, right? I mean, if everyone did, then what would be special about it? Of course, I have tips and tricks on my second to last video from this. I'll link it here somewhere, and I've also linked it down in the description. In that video, I talk about how to get Instagram followers. Of course, those guidelines could also be applied to another form of media. So if you are on Twitter, or trying to do this on Twitter, or YouTube, or Musical.ly, or wherever, the tips I talked about in that video could help you on your form of media as well. Stay consistently active on your media. This is a rule of media in general, just being active all the time, being active with your followers, being active with your posts, and of course, be patient. And this is probably the hardest one out of them all, especially for me. You have to put in the time and the work to get somewhere. And as hard as it is in this instant society, it is very true. If you want to get this big clothing company to sponsor you, you're gonna have to put in the work, you're gonna have to put in your image, you're gonna have to put in a lot of time to just get this company to look at you. This is not true, of course, with every company. Sometimes companies email you first and it's easy and it's nice, but it's not 100% true all the time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you stayed to the end, I'd be surprised. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tap that bell because I post every week, or I try. I'm sorry, I try. Bye!